let's take a look at our time vocabulary. We need to remind ourselves of the two types of clocks that measure time. We have the analog clock, which is the clock that has a minute and hour hand, and a second hand, which is that red hand there to display time. And the digital clock is the clock that shows something electronically, and it just shows the numbers for you. Here's another example of the two. We also need to think about the times of the day. We know that AM is from 12 a.m. midnight when you're sleeping all the way through when you wake up to lunchtime, right around noon or 12 p.m. And then our PM time, starting at 12 p.m. noon, goes all the way back until we get to 12 a.m. midnight again. Okay, so the afternoon into the night. Reminding ourselves the hands on the analog clock, the long hand tells us the minutes, okay? And the short hand or the hour hand shows us the hour. We know that an hour is 60 minutes long. We know that a half hour is 30 minutes long. We call it a half hour because it's half of the clock, just like a fraction, okay? And that would be 30 minutes if you counted by fives around your clock. We're also going to talk about time intervals in time. Each number on the clock marks 5-minute marks or intervals, okay? And so looking here, 11 to 12, that's a 5-minute mark, okay, for your minute hand, or it could be the hour, okay? Well, we're talking about the minutes when we're looking at these numbers. And so going all the way around the clock gives us those 60 minutes. Halfway around gives us 30. And then if we broke it into quarters like this is, okay, it kind of looks like a spinner that we broke up into fourths. Our first quarter would be 15 minutes, then 30 minutes, then 45 minutes, and back to 60 minutes or o'clock. So when we say half past, the minute hand is on the 6, okay? And when we say half past and the minute hand's on the 6, I want you to remember something important. When the minute hand is on the 6, the hour hand is going to be in between the 2 hours, okay? And so in this case here, this clock says that it is 12:30 because the hour hand is past the 12 and not quite to the 1. On this clock, it says it's 2:30 because the 2, it's past the 2, the hour hand is past the 2, but it hasn't reached the 3 yet. Okay, so anytime your minute hand is to the 6, your hour hand is going to be in between the hours, and we call that half past. Quarter past is just like saying 15 minutes past. Remember when I said a quarter of the clock goes to 15? Okay, we can say quarter past or quarter after when the minute hand is on the 3, okay, because a quarter is the way past the 12, okay. So from the 12 to the 3, that's 15 minutes, and that is quarter past. And so here we would say it is quarter past 7 o'clock because the hour hand is here, it just passed the 7. Quarter 2 is when the minute hand is on the 9, a quarter of the way until the 12, okay? And so we had our quarter past, okay, which is 15, half past, which is the 6 or 30, and then quarter past, okay? And this is the 45-minute mark, all right? And so looking at this, quarter to 5 is what this says, and it should be quarter to 6 because it's almost to the 6, okay? The big hand is pointing to the 9. That means it is 5:45 and it's almost 6 o'clock. And the last thing in our vocabulary is elapsed time. This is something we're going to learn in our lessons. It is the amount of time that passes since the start of something to the end of something, okay? And so if we are to look at this clock here, the start would be here. And if we said it was 12:45 and then we went to 1:15, we would count by fives, 1, 2, and go through it, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So that would be 30 minutes. If we looked at these two clocks, this one says 11 o'clock and this one says 4:30. And we'd have to figure out how much time it took to get from 11 o'clock to 4:30. Okay, so you could count the hours. 11 to 12 is 1, 12 to 1 is 2, 1 to 2 is 3, 3 to 4 is, 11 to 12, 12 to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, then 3 to 4, okay? And then you would notice the half hour. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hours. And then the minute hand goes a half. So that would be 5.5 hours. We're going to learn a little bit more about elapsed time in our lesson. So what I'd like you to do is go ahead and move down in your HyperDoc.